Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of I Go into Minecraft and I talk about what my next video is going to be, or my next series of videos are going to be. So, yeah, yeah, if you haven't been watching this channel in the past while, you know very well that I like to do these monthly streams where I talk about everything. That I'm doing, and yeah, so everything that I'm doing for YouTube, and kind of reveal a few things and kind of put a bit of gameplay footage behind it. And yeah, today we're in a bit of a modded version of Minecraft. I've installed a beta version of the Fabric version of the Create mod, which adds a train system into the game. Create mod's pretty cool if you play on Java. So yeah. Yeah, and what it does is it has like everything you can do for mechanical engineering and all that kind of stuff. You can literally design things here. But yeah, we're also going to kind of have a bit of a rant concerning Minecraft, because there are some things with that game that I really need to talk about. Just the updates that have been coming to it recently. We'll get to that when we get there. But first, let's get to the actual announcements for this stream. So it's been a while since I've picked it up on the Game Builder Garage. As you may have noticed, I've had a bit of a backlog of content going with the trip that I just came back from like a couple weeks ago. And I had a bit of a backlog of videos like that drum machine review. So but we're now switching back to normal content over the next week or so, and yeah, we're going back to normal, and yeah, and we're going back to the Game Builder Garage stuff, which has basically gotten really far, because the visualized port has gotten like real far and is pretty much almost finished, but because I've gotten all the visuals in, and I've gotten them linked up to all of the parts where they need to go, so it almost looks finished. There's a lot of bug squashing we gotta do, and we gotta finish up a few areas of the thing. And yeah, let me just check. Oh good, audio is going. Yeah, I had to check a bit of things for a while. Ooh, yeah, so yeah, there's a bit of stuff going down. So where we are currently is that we're just going to finish up the Game Builder Garage content for the reviews and all that. And so yeah, so as it stands, yeah, we're basically we're basically almost done with the whole Game Builder Garage the Game Builder Garage version of Visualized. So I'm thinking that the last 3 weeks will be of that specifically. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have like less time to devote to this whole YouTube stuff, because school goes back in next week actually, so that's fun, I guess. It's my senior year of high school, so gotta go in and do all that and finish that up. But yeah, so basically that's mostly it. I might pepper in a few reviews, because I do have a bit of an idea of some things that I'd like to review, but I'm not too certain on where things are, on what I'm going to really do. It's just the Game Builder Garage stuff that I've been doing is working out okay, I guess. And yeah, so that's mostly all the content workload for this whole week, or this whole month. So yeah, so that's mostly where we are. I just have a couple simple videos to go on with, which yeah. So now on to something that I kind of wanted to that I've been kind of meaning to talk about, but don't want to devote a whole video or a short to it. Um, and that is the whole topic that's been kind of brewing right now with the whole Minecraft 1.19.1. I said it in the title, and so, I'm going to talk about it here. So, for those of you who aren't in the know about the whole Minecraft 1.19 thing, basically what has happened is that if if you've been living under a rock for the past 10 years, well, first off, welcome to YouTube, I guess. But second off, Microsoft bought out the company that made Minecraft, Mojang, back in like 2014. At first, they were kind of very hands off with it, and they kind of introduced a bunch of updates. Namely, they invested like real heavily into the C++ version of the game, or Bedrock Edition, as it's more colloquially known. Um, but yeah, now the one thing that Bedrock Edition, or the one feature that Bedrock Edition had, was a bit of a censorship system, which kind of worked out for the kind of clientele that plays Minecraft, because you really don't want the Karens after you, like, oi, why is who's subjecting my little angel to insert things here? And it kind of checks out, because Bedrock being played on phones, tablets, and game consoles, even PC and on some operating systems, and hell, even being used as the code base for the education version, it kind of checks out. Um, but of course, the one version, which is what I'm actually playing on right now, that is very popular and is in fact considered kind of the superior version on PC, is Java Edition, which is the version I'm playing right now, and is the only one that allows for mods, like in my case, the Fabric loader, because I can't get CurseForge to work on Linux, so I'm using Fabric. But yeah, unfortunately, as it stands, Fabric, well, I'm not actually, scratch that. I'm not talking about modding at this point. But yeah, so usually so Minecraft Java, it's kind of superior. It's a little more open source, not completely open source. It's still very proprietary, but you can easily mod it. Um, so a lot of people go to that, and there's a lot of, and from my understanding, there's a lot of servers on Java that tend to be more fairing. They're usually kind of more of the NSFW, not safe for work kind of stuff. So in fact, this is kind of where most of the problem stems from, and in fact, that's where most of the issues are currently. Um, and unfortunately, the problem with that is that, well, I guess they were kind of looking into that, and they were like, no, we can't have this, or something like that. I mean, it's weird, but in reality, what 1.19.1 does is that it has a feature where now anything you type into chat, like let's just say I send this off in chat, um, if this were 1.19.1, everything will have a cryptographic signature on it, meaning that basically what I say is obviously going to be tied to me. And of course, there's no real inherent problem with that. There's now a global reporting system where you can use those cryptographically signed messages to get reported, and that's where a lot of people kind of get a little disenfranchised with the whole concept. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a big issue, from what I've gathered, and yeah, and what's happening is that there's the global reporting system. I mean, and if you get globally reported and globally banned, you can't play online. But the big issue with this, aside from the global bans, is the system where I believe they have like, I think they kind of snoop in on servers and private servers and look through all the messages sent even in private servers. So I think that's where a lot of people are having the problems with it. And personally, that's just not that great because, like I said earlier, there's a lot of not safe for work servers. I obviously never go on those because, there's no point in doing so. But, there's the kinds of people who would do that. And unfortunately, with, or at least servers that have a lower tolerance to things that you couldn't get around with someone very young. So obviously there's a bit of a problem with that. So, you say something offensive in like one server, it's not going to really be that great. But yeah, it's just a whole mess of things. So what the problem is that, well, now that you can literally, now that it literally has like something that looks through these chat logs, from what I've heard, it's like it looks through the chat logs and you can get banned, I think, for saying certain things, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but based on that, I'm not too happy with how that is. I mean, but it's just, I'm not too happy with a lot of these things, and it's like there's kind of, there were a lot of things, like a lot of people who are who the majority of the community who has grown to hate the new update. They've really, one of the things that they always cite was the original trailer for Minecraft that came out in 2011. I think it was like when it reached alpha or beta on Java Edition, and it was like, and there was like a section where the guy who was reading it was like, there are no rules to follow, just your own. Well, of course, now that's a complete lie. Where I'm really having a problem with this, though, is the fact that, imaginably, with the backlash that a lot of people are giving it, the developer, Mojang, who still exists, but still under Microsoft, obviously, they've been keeping shut about this. They haven't been responding to the community at all. They haven't been talking about it at all. And it's only the developers of the game that are actually being forced to face the angry mob of the public. And that's kind of what I'm a bit miffed at the slightest, because it's like, because with the angry mob having to be tamed by the people who are working on the code, it just gets annoying, because a lot of the developers are kind of not doing so well with mental health, from what I've gathered. And it's like, because the imaginable angry mob has been targeting them, and they've been getting bullied, and they've been getting a lot of questions, and they're like, and the developers, they can't do anything about it because, well, the company that employs them hasn't been doing anything. And instead of actually being able to do their job and write the code to make the game better and focus on the user, the improvements, they can't, because well, angry public mob, I guess. So it's just, so kind of a bit of a, so yeah, it's just weird, because usually if you're doing something like this, if you need to face the public, make the PR people do it, not the developers. And I think that's what everybody's been saying. So I do kind of share a similar opinion to most of the whole Minecraft community. And I just thought I'd bring this up in this stream because it's one of those weird things that it's just concerning. As someone who actually kind of does this kind of development. It's like, it's just messed up, and I should, and I definitely, when I was titling this stream, I should have definitely put the hashtag save Minecraft on here, because yeah, it's it's messed up. I mean, you know, I mean, I it just makes me feel bad for the developers, and not because, now that it's just them and not the PR team who are handling it, it's mad. I do kind of want to know the general opinion of everybody here, so what are your thoughts, I guess, because yeah, it's just it's just insane what's been going on, and you know and from what I've heard of it, it's not the greatest, but yeah, I could kind of understand where they're coming from on the concept, but I feel like the execution and some of the sub items and sub ideas involved are very misguided. Um, I'm it's one of those, I'm not too certain on how to feel, but I know it's very negative. You know, Minecraft is one of those legendary games that made so many people's childhoods. In fact, even mine for a little while. And yeah, it's one of those games that would be. And it's just sad to see that it's being decimated by just some of the most corporate things I've ever seen. You know, for something that's supposed to have a, a reduction in rules is, you know, not the greatest. It definitely also doesn't help with servers that are like, anarchy servers like 2B2T and all that. I mean, they've been going for a long time. In fact, I think they've got like world record for longest anarchy server running, and I think I think this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back for them, unfortunately, which is something that I really don't want to see, unfortunately. So yeah, this is just, so I'm a little concerned. There's my 2 cents on it. Not like it was really that important, honestly, but yeah, it would. But yeah, I could definitely see where all the hate's coming from. But just honestly, if I were to, if I had a larger fan base, or well, actually, even the fan base right now, I would definitely not advise to get angry with the developers. Be angry with the company and let the company fend, and let the company that decided upon it, in this case Mojang, fend for themselves, basically. Um, the developers have been hit with so much, and it's been a bit annoying. Um, so yeah, so that's mostly what I kind of wanted to leave off on today. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. There are definitely going to be more videos like this where, well, I do one of these live streams every month, but not with a big rant like this. I just had to get this out of the way. Um, there's just so much that's going down. I felt like I had to do it. Um, but yeah, that's going to be it for today's little